All right, welcome to the Crazy Ralph podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm joined with
your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete.
Awesome Pete. How you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself, man? How's lifing at you?
Life has been lifing me down, but we're still here. We're in the podcast room, so
Right on.
we're in our happy space. So this is a fun
We're
segment.
talking about Jason and Friday the 13th.
Exactly.
Life is okay.
Yeah,
I get to talk
exactly.
about Jason with my buddy Jason.
No matter what's happening out there right now, we're here, and it's the Friday the 13th world, and this is a fun segment we debuted. It's If They Survived. We take characters from the Friday the 13th franchise that met their untimely demise thanks to Jason, and we bring them back to life, so to speak. We see what happens if they survived camp, went home, and what their life would be like. Now, the funny thing is we did a couple of these, and they varied from people joining cults to going back to school
Yeah.
and going missing, and winning dance fever, and it could go in so many different directions. But one thing I want to say is when we're doing this, some characters will lead to an extraordinary afterlife of this, and some will just have a pedestrian life, and that's okay. We are going to tell you which people had extraordinary scenarios come their way after their experience at Camp Blood, but we're also going to say, hey, listen, you know what? Not a lot happened to this person, but they live a nice life, or this happened, or whatever. So we're not
I lost you.
necessarily bringing to you information that is
Don't hear you.
extraordinary. We're just giving you the facts of what happened to these characters. Brenda, Brenda Jones from part 1, and Demon Winter from part 5, and Uncle Pete will be giving you Demon's encounters with life after surviving Jason, and I will give you Brenda's, and I will go first. Are we ready to go? All right.
Let's rock and roll, buddy.
Okay, let's rock and roll. Okay, so Brenda, we last saw her, smashing through a window, dead, scaring the bejesus out of Alice, but that didn't happen. She survived. So we're not going to worry about how she survived, but we will say this. Brenda left camp in an ambulance, obviously with a myriad of injuries to recover from. But she did recover. That's great. She did extensive therapy, both, on her mind as well as her body, and then turned to church. Actually, she was struggling. But she did go to, she went the way of the Lord, as they say, found her belonging, and it kind of aligns with her personality in part 1, so not that big of a surprise. She was actually going to pursue being a nun. That's how far she was taking it, but in 1985, on a Vatican tour, she met her future husband. They hit it off, Tom, and he's a great guy, as all people named Tom are. And anyways, so they built a great institution together. They settled down in San Francisco and had 6 kids. Happy for her for that. They did a lot of traveling in their spare time. Now with 6 kids, you don't have a lot of spare time. They did a lot of traveling, a lot of church tours and stuff like that. But Brenda did have some setbacks. She did struggle with some PTSD from what had happened, but overall, she was able to really kind of keep it in control. Her husband was a businessman who was able to support, so she was home with the kids, some homeschooling, which is fine. And overall, life was good. The kids were all healthy and growing up fine. However, while things stay well with Brenda per se, in 2016, Brenda's youngest daughter started an OnlyFans. And yeah. So Rose Jones, she started an OnlyFans and very successful one. So this has been a big burden to Brenda and the family. This is unimaginable, as you know, it's always a tough pill to swallow for a parent, but when you're steeped into the religious world the way she is, this one really stings. Excuse me. There's been a massive fallout with not only Brenda, but the rest of the family as well. So there is a little bit of turmoil in the family. To this day, Rose's OnlyFans career is a harder obstacle to overcome than surviving Pamela Voorhees at Camp Crystal Lake. So there is some struggles in her later life, but hopefully they can get it sorted out. Hopefully they could come to some sort of mutual agreement and understanding. But right now, that's where she's at.
Cool. Very cool. I like that one. That's thought out, dude. That was awesome.
Anyways, Rose Jones OnlyFans. So for all of you, if that's your takeaway,
right?
All right, so we move on to one of the most popular characters in Friday. Well, with a short, screen time, one of the most popular, Demon from Friday the 13th Part 5: A New Beginning. Uncle Pete, take it away.
All right, so surviving Jason's attack from the outhouse. He was in the outhouse, like I said, not going to tell you how he survived, but he did survive. His girlfriend, unfortunately, did not. But he didn't survive unscathed through all of his injuries. Everything stayed with him, especially the deep loss of his girlfriend. So trying to get a new lease on life, blaming the enchiladas for him having to go to the outhouse, new lease on life with fitness, eating right. And to deal with the loss of his girlfriend, he writes a hit song, Ooh, Baby, I'm Gonna Miss You. First song sells great. He's getting tons of popularity, but there's just not enough for a second album. He can't gain those emotions again he did with the loss of Anita to write more music, but people are begging, hey, we need some songs. You're doing great. He's got to perform in one song, right? So he calls his twin brother, who lives in Louisville, Kentucky. His name he happens to go by, Spider. Yes, Spider from Return of the Living Dead in this universe is Demon's twin brother. So he contacts Spider. You say, Spider's, you can see he's a metalhead in the movie. He likes metal. So Demon's like, hey, let me collaborate with him. Maybe we can come up with some type of new sound to really get this thing starting. So takes an early morning flight, landing around 4:30 a.m. on July 5th. So as he gets off the plane, he's about to go get in a cab to his brother's house. He gets in the cab right after 5 a.m. on July 5th. And if you've seen the end of the Return of the Living Dead, that is when the U.S. military dropped a bomb on Louisville, Kentucky, obliterating 20 blocks. So he arrives in Louisville to visit his twin brother to start some music, only for the government to drop a mini nuke on top, destroying 20 square blocks in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
That's what happened to Demon.
That is tragic, man. Like, that is terrible. You survive one life-altering, attempted murder, and then you get nuked by the government. That's some bad luck. And you know what's the worst part about that is, I feel like, that there could have been some magic there. We could have, probably could have seen a little bit more of this guy. And let's face it, I mean, his work in the outhouse was legendary. The Ooh, Baby, like, tell me a Friday fan who doesn't sing that song.
Doesn't say Ooh, Baby.
Come on, like, I mean, this guy had talent, and it was evident. And this is a life cut short. This this one hurts. That hurts. I was kind of hoping for something, but that's life, right? I mean, we don't know what's around the bend, and I'm sure Brenda didn't count on her daughter becoming an OnlyFans star, but that's life, and sometimes they will have happy endings after leaving camp, and sometimes they'll die anyway.
Sometimes the bomb just drops.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Awesome. Well, that we hope you enjoyed If They Survived, another edition. Obviously, this is going to be a recurring segment that we are going to have a lot of fun with, and we're curious to know how you enjoyed our take on where these characters, these beloved characters, ended up.
and let us know
Don't
your take. I'd love to hear what somebody else would do with demons. So let us know your take in the comments. Also, if you have like a wacky character or an out of the wall character that we may not get to,
Yeah.
like so and so from maybe somebody from Jason Takes Manhattan, just
Yeah.
shoot us a comment down below on characters you would like us to try and tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tell us what characters you want us to do, and we'll definitely listen to what you have to say. I mean, this is a wacky segment that we happen to love, but if we can please you guys in the process, that's definitely the priority. So awesome work, Uncle Pete. Thanks for delivering us the news. It's tragic news, but it's news. You don't write the news.
Nope.
So to speak. I don't know. Anyways, so with that being said, that concludes this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like our videos, comment. Obviously, we're giving you lots of stuff to comment on here, so please join in the conversation. Let us know what you want to see in future episodes. We're all in on Friday the 13th, so anything you love about this franchise, we'll do it. So speak to us.
You got questions? So anything like, yeah, totally. Questions, comments, anything you want us to tackle? Like, hey, no podcast has ever talked about XYZ before with Friday the 13th. How about would you guys discuss this? We'll easily make a segment to, give the fans what they want.
Absolutely. All right. So with that being said, thanks for joining us on this episode of the Crazy Ralph podcast, and we'll see you soon.